Hi, I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and this is a short excerpt from an interview I did with Justine Musk, who's a dark fantasy novelist and also blogger at tribalwriter.com. You can listen to the whole podcast at thecreativepenn.com/podcasts.
Thank you for having me, Joanna.
It's very good to have you on the show. So maybe you can start by telling us a bit about your journey into writing and your books.
Oh, oh, I've been writing since I was a kid. I started when I was about, I think, 7 or 8, and I was very lucky because I always had a lot of encouragement and support for my writing. And I published 2 dark fantasy novels in my early 30s and a young adult supernatural thriller called Uninvited. And the 2 dark fantasy novels were, Blood Angel and the sequel, Lord of Bones. And then I went through a major life upheaval and did a lot of blogging and started to basically feel drawn to a different kind of material. So I'm in sort of a reinventing phase right now. And I'm also working on a couple of articles for the magazine Marie Claire. So I'm doing some nonfiction, which I would not necessarily have predicted many years ago.
Okay, so one of the biggest questions I get from people when I speak and on the blog is how do they find time to write a book? And you have 5 boys, which is just unbelievable. But so what are your tips for balancing time and finding time to write and also having a life with your kids?
That is always a difficult issue, I think. There are no easy answers for that one. But you have to make writing a priority. You have to take it seriously. You have to take your ambition seriously. And I think the thing about writing is that people tend to think that they need these huge blocks of time to, go up into some attic room somewhere and be an artist. And you can do it in small steps every day. I think that's the important thing is to be consistent. But you can write around the edges of your life. You can write around, you can write in the gaps. The 20 minutes here or 100 words here, it adds up. So if you can manage to do a page a day, you have a book in a year. So it's just taking the time to do it, just being very deliberate about your intentions.
What do you see, more about the changes in technology and the changes in the publishing industry? What's changing? Because you are traditionally published as well. What do you see as the next sort of things that are going to happen?
I think that ebooks are going to replace paperbacks as disposable reading. I think bookstores will continue to close down and disappear. I think the chain bookstores are evolving rapidly. And that changes the very nature of how we discover books. And so the question will continue to be, how do you connect readers with the books that are right for them? And all of that, I think so much more of that is going to move online. And it's going to change the nature, I think, of what traditional publishers do, as well as for the rest of us. I think it radically changes the nature of promotion and marketing. In my eyes, that's a great thing because I never liked to do that stuff before. It was always, pushing your stuff out at the masses, and it felt very just kind of fake to me. And so now it's marketing yourself is about unmarketing. It's about authentic interactions with people. It's about putting stuff out there that's actually useful and entertaining in and of itself. And so I think that's a great thing and will really change the nature of the relationship between readers and writers.
Have you got any top tips for new authors, people who are just about to start blogging? Because as we both know, it takes a lot of time to grow. But now you've been around a year. I've obviously found you online somehow. I don't even know how, But what would be your top 3 tips for new bloggers?
I think my biggest tip would be to be useful. Find a way to be useful. Find a way to give information that not only entertains people but helps them in some way. Solves a problem or answers a question, because people are often online looking for information, and that's often the way that you can first connect with them. I would say to be yourself, and by that I mean to not just be authentic, but really develop a specific point of view that will attract people to you and that will, differentiate yourself from all the other bloggers out there. And also to be consistent. I think that's extremely important. and to think long range, because blogging is it's very much a long term activity, and your audience, as you know, your audience accumulates over time. So it's not something that you can really just kind of dive into and expect to have like an audience overnight. It doesn't really happen like that. And think sometimes this is what I wish I'd maybe done a little bit more of when I started, was to put a little more time into terms of thinking about strategy, social media strategy, in terms of how I was going to allocate my time, and the overall message of the blog, what I wanted it to convey, what I want my, quote unquote brand to be. So all of those things, I think, you don't want to spend too much time obsessing over these things, because then you'll never start blogging at all. And it really is important just to jump in and begin. But, these are things that should be on your mind, and give them some thought. And even as you let them evolve, when you actually start doing the blogging.
So I guess you're in the publishing industry. We have talked a bit about platform and blogging and things. But if you were starting again right now and you had a new urban fantasy novel, what would you be doing to get the attention of a publisher?
I think what they want to see is that you have that platform in progress, and I mean, they still want to see an excellent manuscript. So I don't want to imply otherwise. So the book has to be high quality, first and foremost. And then they want to see that you are willing to put in the time and effort to build a following on Twitter and on Facebook and on your blog, and to kind of be working at all of those elements. So if you have something in progress, something to show them, and a great book, I think that will get you into the door, and that will make them happy. So I would be on Twitter, and I would be on Facebook. I would develop a Facebook page probably for the book. I haven't done that yet, but I'm very interested in that. And I would try to maybe make people part of the process, to engage them a little more in the process of writing the book. And I would also just really try to write some great blog posts, and I would make them very shareable, so that people would tweet them and retweet them, and get them out into the blogosphere. Maybe write a manifesto, just something that would grab people's attention.
I'm asking this of people, of writers. What are the obsessions and the things that you love that feed your writing?
The obsessions and the things that I love that feed my writing. Oh, you ask the good questions. Very interested in how men and women relate to each other. So I'm finding. So I'm very interested in how we repeat things from the past, and in efforts to resolve them. That's kind of coming up more and more. How we define family, and how we kind of create our own family through our friendships. Overcoming the past, and dealing with the mysterious, I guess. And I guess this is where my interest in the supernatural comes from. That sense of tapping into some great mystery, and not knowing what the answers are, and knowing that we'll probably never know what the answers are, and learning how to live with that. So I think those are probably some of my obsessions.
Right. Well, where can people find you and your books online?
I am at, I consider my main hub to be Trouble Writer. So that's www.troublewriter.com. My books they're on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all of those sites. They are very downloadable if you have a Kindle. And they are also featured on my Flash website at justinemusk.com.
Well, thanks ever so much for your time, Justine. That was great.
Thank you so much, Joanna. I had a lot of fun.